Welcome back. We take you back to that story we mentioned earlier on. The DA has a new provincial leader. Tertuis Simmers is the DA's Western Cape leader after an overwhelming win against his competitor. We'll take you back to the issue of the margins in just a moment. But I'd like to talk to Mr. Simmers and just ask him a few questions. Mr. Simmers, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. There was a comment that you made that I found quite curious. In your victory speech, you said you have not stabbed people in the back and you can still reach the top. And you also reflected on your journey, I think, of 23 years. So what exactly did you mean by stabbing in the back? Is there a history of that for people to step on others to get to the top? Have you experienced that in this particular election?
Good evening, Sufficient. Good evening to your viewers. No, indeed, by that I do mean exactly that certain individuals who aspire for higher positions tend to do so at the expense of seeking to discredit, their opponent's credibility and sometimes even their opponent's character. And sadly, a week and a half before this crucial Congress in the Western Cape, we started seeing elements of such happening in the Western Cape, similarly like we have seen in previous congresses in our province. But yet, we stayed true. The delegates made a choice because I believe the days of undermining your fellow party members are not acceptable and accepted by the majority and overwhelming majority in the DA Western Cape.
And not to, or rather, look back, hark back on past incidents, just trying to understand the electoral environment, because as we go into 2024 elections, that needs to be understood within the Western Cape context exactly. So what did you experience where you say people were trying to undermine others to get to the top position? And what do you think is the motivation? Is it a pure ascendancy to powerful positions? Or, one of the things was said about this particular race was the importance of connecting to one's electorate.
As much as this is an internal party congress which has come to an end today with a clear mandate for the next 3 years, it's quite evident, and if you observe the politics of the DA Western Cape, but the Western Cape as a whole, certain opposition parties are utilized, unfortunately, at certain crucial stages in even our own processes to discredit, one's opponent by those who seek office and access to higher power. That is a conception of what it means to be in office. But ultimately, that did not succeed. We have seen the Congress prevail. The Congress held up its integrity. The voters were allowed to make their free choice without external influences, be it from within their own processes or utilizing, sadly, by some individuals, the utilization of external forces in the Western Cape. That did not succeed because the DA Western Cape's foundations and values and principles has proven to be true, has proven to be solid. But above all, we are focused on what is more important than anything else, which is to be a party of governance, a party that will now unite, a party that will move forward in the interest of all of its people.
And as we talk about these issues, you have also said that the hard work starts now. Do you consider, with some of these issues that we've just spoken about, that the ideological differences, because as much as the DA has often said it's broadly centrist, and those who've raised the issue of race have been told that they've been obsessed and have been dismissed, is this something that you believe you'd also have to tackle, given the demographics of the Western Cape, the third largest province, one of the highest levels of inequalities, and a significant number of non-whites in the province?
Well, first and foremost, if we get the demographics of our own party, and the Congress today actually is proof of that, we are a party for all who live in our province. The bulk of my support, which is phenomenally very, very high, according to the results I have seen, it's representative of all our members, whether they be different racial groups, that is irrelevant. We all share a common goal. We all share a common purpose. But ultimately, as we now move to the external component of what we are doing, it's important to understand that there are those opposition parties in our province who seek to racialize and who seek to divide our communities. Whereas at the DA Western Cape, we seek to unite all those communities, be it a DA ward, be it an opposition party's ward. We govern for all at the provincial level. And at the municipal level, we do the same. And I've managed to build relationships across party lines, because at the end of the day, once you take your oath of office, as much as you have a party mandate, your true calling is to improve the lives of all those who you are called to serve, be it as an executive member of the legislature like myself, or a mayor or MACO member. We all like to serve all the people that we were elected to serve.
Okay, I suppose the proof is in the pudding, Mr. Simmers. John Steenhuisen speaking about the multi-party charter partners, which is something that you have reflected on when you say going forwards towards 2024, you want to ensure that the DA wins over 60% of the votes provincially. So what he said was the Western Cape plus KwaZulu-Natal plus Gauteng equals a new national government, and that for the first time since 1994, the ANC will be defeated nationally. Do you think that there is enough trust within some of your multi-party partners, especially on some of these issues? You say people have an over-concentration of race, but we have seen an exodus of black leaders on particularly important national issues from the DA. Have you ironed out some of these issues? Are you confident that nothing will occur over the next couple of months that shakes that confidence?
Well, first and foremost, I fully support my federal leader, John Steenhuisen, and the multi-party charter approach. Similarly, like I fully support our approach in our election campaign. One needs to understand when individuals lead the Democratic Alliance, they do so of their own accord, and we respect that. Sadly, some choose to belittle, some choose to seek to tarnish our party's reputation, and yet, as a party, we do allow them the space to move on. And most of the voters in the Western Cape have reacted to this, and we have seen over the last few by-elections in the Western Cape, in support of the broader picture of our project to save South Africa as the DA, and noting our importance in that mission, in support of our federal leader in terms of the DA Western Cape. We have seen phenomenal growth in the recent by-elections. We have seen people putting aside and ignoring the racially based politics and the other factors which some people try to bring into the by-election cycle. And as we know, a by-election is a small space within which you test some of these things. And the party has come up. We have shown that the electorate of the Western Cape actually rise above that. Hence, we also support our other colleagues in Gauteng and other areas where the party has a strategic objective in ensuring that we can portray the party as a party of governance, and that is our key role. And once again, those who leave our party, we welcome them. It is their own choice.
Let's talk about important international developments at the moment. You've seen the Israel-Hamas war proving to be divisive, not only in the region, but in the country as well. Certainly the DA and the ANC have different opposing views on this. The ANC says it comes down to the issue of humanity. We've seen a diplomatic pull-out from other countries across the world from diplomatic relations with Israel. The DA removed Khaleb Kachalia from its shadow cabinet because he said that he will not be silenced, that Israel is committing genocide. Do you think the DA and its coalition partners are in agreement on this particular issue? And what about your particular stance? Where do you like to follow the party line?
Well, we first need to understand a party has rules and regulations, and a caucus is bound by the decisions that the caucus made. So I fully support the approach of our federal leader, who's also our caucus leader at the National Assembly. So that is, a decision he made based on a decision which was made as a collective. And all parties have similar approaches. One needs to understand that. As the DA Western Cape, we also align ourselves with our federal leader and the federal structure's approach in terms of a conflict between Israel and Hamas. Any life lost on either side is a life lost too many. And we support the call for a two-state approach in the interest of those individuals, in the interest of those various communities. And that is something that needs to be fully understood. Any life lost on either line of this war is a life that is unnecessarily lost. And I fully stand by what our federal party has said, what our federal structure has said, and also what our shadow Minister of International Relations has said. Because, once again, any life lost on either side is a life too many.
Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations, Tertuis Simmers, DA Western Cape leader, speaking to about the road ahead following that victory against Madikizela.